Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to another episode of Open for Discussion. I'm your boy, C. Maurice Ball, and today I am excited to have these young men on this panel today to sit and discuss some things with me. And man, it's like they took time out of their busy day to come and hang out with me. So I am truly, truly excited. And we're going to talk about being a collegiate athlete, how sports plays in your sports, and the mental health aspect of that. So without further ado, we're gonna kick this intro, and then we'll be right back. Let's go. Well. We have with us today some fine young gentlemen that are collegiate athletes. We have a recent graduate, and I am really excited about having them on today. I had a lot of questions to do this particular show. And when I thought about it, I thought about these were the people that I wanted on my show. Um, and I know I probably get a little pushback, like, where's the female representation at? Believe me, I shot some things out to some people, just a conflict of interest and scheduling. But the very next one, I promise you that we will have representation on here because they have a different set of issues than some of the guys do. But I'm going to introduce this awesome, dope panel. We got Michael Jalen on here. We got Ladarius LA on here. We got Juju on here. And we got Jake on here. Quick note, Juju just graduated with his bachelor's in business. So shout out to him for being able to maintain for 4 years and do that. Last year, IU Kokomo took home the championship, and he hit the shot that led him to that. And this year, my man Jake is the first champion decathlon from Indiana State. Man, he took the podium last week or 2 weeks ago. So he out here doing big things out here. Graduate from Charlestown. So I am really excited that we're on here. So what's up, fellas? What y'all got going on? Let's talk. What we got?
Nothing much for real. Just feel me, working hard. Getting ready for the season that's coming up. I know I can't speak for the fellas out here that this summer it's really gonna be one. We need this to lock in.
Oh yeah,
I
for sure.
dig it.
A couple of things. People are busy with different things. Like my guy Michael said, he's gonna be working and trying to get better with this sport. But with me, I'm gonna be doing going to school for hospital administration, and as well as I'm gonna start coaching 6th and 7th grade at Scribner starting this summer. So just a little things on my plate for this summer.
Okay, coach.
Yeah, sure.
What we got going on, Jake?
Workouts are about to start again, so I'm about to put in that work to try to go back-to-back champions.
That's what's up. LA, what's happening?
Season, like, as soon as the season ended, and then just working a lot, really just trying to get my mind back right.
Okay. So we just gonna jump right into this, and y'all can answer how y'all feel led to answer. But you know, one of the questions that I got asked that I want to ask you all is, what was the biggest adjustment for you all from high school athletics and being a student athlete to collegiate athletics and being a student athlete?
I would say the biggest adjustment would be, basically the size and the skills of players. Because I mean, when you're in high school and you have a certain size, maybe about 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", around that range, you can just be better than everybody because you're just taller than them, more athletic than them. But when it comes to college, you're going to have guys who are the same size or even if bigger. So when it comes to the adjustment process, the skill level is very different from high school to college. And then another thing about the adjustment process is that there's a lot of teachers in high school that will kind of baby people. You know what I'm saying? Like hold their hand and do that. But in college, it's not like that. If you get off to a rough start in college, you're gonna be finding yourself basically playing makeup the next 3 years because little do people know the first year of college is most important because that's like your foundation. So, two big things from high school to college is definitely the skill and development of players and those teachers not really babying students like they used to in high school.
So we have Brandy that just pulled up. Hey, Brandy. Who know Brandy? Who people is Brandy? Brandy. Okay. I gave her opportunity. If you get back on, let me know. So what else y'all got?
Yeah, going off of
Yeah, to add
skill.
on that.
I don't know if y'all ran into this, but I ran into like people who are like 5 and 6 years older than me, like 5th and 6th years.
Yeah,
Like
Mhm.
grown
yeah.
men, I'm having to go out and compete against daily. And so
Oh,
that was definitely an eye opener that I ran into. And then the
yeah,
workload, especially, way
I was about to say
different.
and that's the thing about COVID because with COVID being the way it was, it allows players to have 5 or 6 years. So you're not going up against people that were 4 years older than you or 4 years younger than you. You might be going up against somebody who is 5 or 6 years older than you or 5 or 6 years younger than you. So that's kind of crazy thing that
Yeah,
COVID brought to the college level.
that's true. You could probably got people that's getting a masters right now, or they
Man,
just now just trying to show you they still got it. But to add on to what Juju was talking about, yeah, those and another big thing is commitment. Like I don't know if any of you guys had 5 a.m. workouts, but they no joke. They no joke. I don't know too many high schools who gotta wake up at 4:30 in the morning to get up and go lift weights or run a couple miles on the track. But commitment is a big thing. It's so different. So different.
What about you, LA?
I would say really just the consistency because I feel like in high school, just depending on where you are, you can get by with a lot of things like in practice, workouts, and even the classroom. But like I feel like kind of like you just said, like if you like have to play catch up, then like it's just gonna be hard. You're gonna struggle on and off the court or the field. I feel like.
So when you are what so those were shell shock moments, right? So y'all came out of high school, y'all making these adjustments, y'all dominating in high school. Folks are, you're the top of your class, especially in the area that we live in. You hold down the fort, and then you get to a space where you coming across grown men who got 2 COVID years and they got a red shirt year and a COVID year, and then you out here trying to, you just really now learning how to tie your shoes. They out here with grown man beards and stuff, right? Okay. Now, what was the classroom adjustment like? So you have these workouts. How did y'all find the balance as your first year and Juju as you started to increase, go, you just graduated, so I'm pretty sure you found your stride somewhere in there. What was the balance of classroom and workouts, um, along with still trying to maintain your mental sanity? How did all that play out in Juju? You have again, you just graduated, so you have experience. But what about y'all that and Mike? I know you're a sophomore this year, so what? How did y'all find that balance with schoolwork, workouts, time for yourself, um, time just to decompress? How did y'all work that into y'all schedules?
It's really just about time management for real. When you think about it, it's really not that hard once you get into the swing of things. But it's really important to manage your time and what you're doing because if you know you got to work out at 5 in the morning, you should not be nowhere but your dorm. laying down, getting ready for the next day to come. And that's really what it boils down to. Is because I know for my freshman year, I really had to buckle down. I had to find people who were in the same or who was where I wanted to be. So I had to study what they were doing. I had to look up to them and figure out, okay, it's certain things that they're doing and there's certain things that they're not doing, and this is why they're progressing. This is why they're thriving. You get what I'm saying? That because that's really what it boils down to. Just being great, being able to manage time.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just to piggyback off of what he said, I mean, everything about having the right balance, right? It's just having the right level of everything. So for us athletes, we had to find time for workouts. We had to find time for being in the weight room, being in the gym, getting up extra shots if that's what we want to do. I mean, we want to be great, so we want to put in extra work, right? So I mean, everything's about, to me, it's about putting the first things first. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like putting your schoolwork first, putting your workouts, your practice, and then everything else will fall in line. So to me, it's all about putting what's most important first, and then making time for that. And then after all that's taken care of, then you're going to put in the extra activities. You know what I'm saying? So just all about having balance and then having the right time and putting the first things first.
Okay.
Yeah, time management was a big thing because if I know I have a meet on the weekend, I know we leave on Thursday. So I know I need to get my stuff done, make sure I'm on top of it so I'm not falling behind and having to stress about turning in work while I'm traveling on the bus. Don't know if I'll be able to turn and stuff. So you just have to make sure you're on top of it.
Okay.
What you just said is really, you just got to realize, I know for me, because I was like this in high school, but like, you got to realize you're a student first. And I know we all want to work hard. We probably all want to get like 3 workouts in a day, but like, if you don't get the schoolwork done, then you're not even going to be able to compete at the end of the day. So I looked at it like, if I get my schoolwork done, I'll probably work out like 6 a.m., go to my classes, get all my work done throughout the day, and then if I don't have any work, then just do the rest of my workouts at the end of the day and just like let it ride instead of having to stress about it.
Okay. So that sounds that's the cookie cutter response. You know, that's the hey, but how is it was it easier said than done? I
Man,
mean, the reality is y'all still in college. You still got stuff going on. That's the polished response, and I get that. But was it easier said than done?
no, it's so many distractions, and it's so many distractions. Once you get to college, I feel like you get a sense of freedom, but also a sense of responsibility. It's a double edged sword. You gotta know what you're doing. You just gotta be you, but be responsible. You have to, or it'll swallow you up. It'll do that to you.
Yeah, and I've went to college with people who came from a very strict household when they was in middle school, elementary, middle school, and high school, and then when they came to college, guess what? They didn't have mommy and daddy telling them what to do anymore. They kind of had a new sense of freedom, and people who has freedom like that, they can do one or two things with them. They can do the right thing and stay on track, or they can do the wrong thing and get off track. So it's always easier being said than doing it. But because, like you said, a lot of distractions being practice, distractions being parties, your social life, even girls, because girls are a huge distraction. But I would say it's definitely easier said than done. But you have to find the right balance, and you have to just grind it out. And once you get it done, you'll be able to reap the benefits from doing it. So
Y'all talking like I ain't been to college.
That's why I'm saying like we know you done been through that, so you understand where
yeah,
it's
Yeah,
coming from.
yeah. I know we got people watching and your parents go out. I'm just saying y'all talking like I ain't been to college. I know how hard it was for me, and we're gonna go back like 1992. You talking about it was hard, and I wasn't even playing anything.
So I know you had more time to do whatever you wanted to, man.
yeah. You have more free time than us.
I had way more free time, and I'm just saying, even with that free time, I understand that it's this. Y'all are speaking from learned experience, and I
Mhm.
appreciate that. But the reality is that some kid right now, next year, got this something in their head, and they're gonna get on campus, and they're gonna experience something that's totally different than what they think they're going to experience. Right?
Mhm.
And that's what I want y'all to. I mean, share the realness with them. Like, yeah, it was a beast getting up, and yeah, I did go to that party last night, and then had to get up and go to my track meet and try to figure out how I was going to perform because I might have drank some Gatorade that has something in it. Okay, y'all want to be real, but it's okay. It's all right.
For sure. I get what you're saying because I'm not gonna lie. I got a couple teammates that'll party to the sun come up and show up the next meet, and I'm talking about place top 3. No joke. And I always ask them how y'all do this, and they just say it's them, and it's really y'all. It's just a person, and I think it's just college, bro. College just amazes me, bro. It just it brings you around certain people that you think like you really got that dog in you. You really do. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I personally, if I had a game or something I'm gonna be real. If I had a game the next day, then the night before I wasn't doing nothing. But if I had to practice the next day, then there's a good chance that I might have been doing something that night. But
yeah,
that feeling that you have to, when you're practicing and you're not feeling 100%, that sucks. Like, that makes you want to quit practice right then and there. Like there's been times where I've been in practice and it's because the night before I was kind of doing stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. And I wasn't prepared for practice. But there's been times where I've been in practice and next thing you know, I'm running off the court, throwing up in the trash cans though. Having experiences like that, man, it kind of changes you. It makes you not want to do that type of stuff no more.
So what are some of the things that you could tell a junior or a senior right now that has the aspirations to play college sports and also be a student? What are some of the things that you all had to adjust to mentally to what would you share with somebody that's coming up to say you should start working on X, Y, and Z right now in preparation for or in preparation of making this transition?
I would say your time management, your people skills, and it's really just those two because that's the biggest things that I had to adjust to when going to my college. And another thing would be not seeing your family as much depending on where you go because that's kind of what I struggled with because I was three hours away from my hometown and I would only see my family maybe like once every 6 or 7 months. So that was a big thing to adjust to, and of course people skills because you want to go to campus and you want to be that guy that's loved on campus. You don't want to be that guy that's just walking around with their headphones in, not talking to anybody. And if your people skills are good, then you'll be able to make connections. So, and connections go far. They go way farther than we might even know. So, and time management is huge. Time management is very important when it comes to anybody, student, athlete, student, staff member, whatever. Time management is very important.
For sure. Jake, what about you?
One of the biggest adjustments was coming in thinking I was great and then seeing 5 other people who are exactly like me and knowing I'm gonna have to work to get better than them. So I just had to I didn't come in with such a competitive spirit since around here I did pretty well, but then up there I'm bottom of the list. So if it was just kind of tough coming in with that. But definitely time management was a bigger adjustment just because there's so much being thrown on you at once from the beginning that you just have to be prepared to bunker down and get at it.
LA, what about you?
Back off what he said is because my coach has said it this year, freshmen will come in and think they're already the man. And then once our first 6 a.m. practice starts, then all that just goes out the window. So it's really just you just need to be prepared to get pressured very on and off the court, I feel or whatever sport you're playing, because that'll really make or break you. Because the college practices to me aren't no joke, and especially with you having to focus on your school and try not to be distracted as much, I would just say be prepared to be pressured a lot and face adversity throughout your year.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I think I'm gonna be a devil's advocate with that one. I'm gonna say don't lose your confidence, but also buckle down on school. I'm gonna say because if you're not confident in what you bring it to the table, that kind of it gives you a backslide. Because yeah, there's people out there that's I'm not gonna lie, there's people out there in high jump. You know this, Jake. They jumping 7 feet.
That is
'Cause I
hard.
think we had a couple meets together. It was I think you had a couple of guys that were jumping like 6, 10, 7 feet,
Yeah.
and that could really shake your confidence. But if you come in with the meet, come into the meet knowing that yeah, there's some guys better than you, but you're gonna still compete. I think that'll take you a great way. And on the other side of the grades, buckle down as a junior and senior. Please buckle down because I can't tell you how much I regret my freshman year not being able to be out there and compete with my teammates that first year. It hurt. I'm telling you, you don't want that. You don't want that. I promise you don't.
Yeah, you know what? I think y'all all are on something. And I'm glad y'all all are kind of moving in the direction of putting the pieces together. And now y'all could be a voice of wisdom to those who are going to listen to this and those that are coming behind y'all and everything like that. That I think that's really great. But I have another question that somebody proposed. It says, can you share an experience where your mental health directly impacted your performance in your sport? And how did you overcome it?
But yeah, I need to hear this. Come on, Juju. Let me hear something.
I mean, it's not a secret that past couple years have been tough for me. I lost a couple friends and this and that. That's kind of been weighing heavy on my mind. But I remember there was one time where I lost a friend previously. Well, it maybe been like 2 or 3 years ago, and I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later we had a game, and I knew it was about to be one of those games because when I'm feeling down or I'm feeling a certain type of way, you know, I try to hide it, but my face says it all. And I remember when I walked into the gym, I gave this lady that she was kind of like a grandma to me. I gave her a hug, and I said, I need some love today. And when I ever say I need some love today, that means I'm having a pretty sad day. But she gave me a hug. We prayed, and I went in the locker room. And I tried to like in our pregame warm ups, I was trying to like shake that feeling off, but I couldn't. And when the game got going, I just wasn't myself at all. I feel like my energy was low, my mental was low, my everything that I'm known for. It wasn't me that day, and so that's probably one of the experiences where I was kind of like, man, I was having a bad day. It wasn't me. My mental health was kind of affecting my performance on the court. It's not a coincidence that I didn't have a very good game that game. So mental health plays a lot in when it comes to performance and when it comes to your success in the class.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah. To add on to that, I just want y'all to picture this real quick. Imagine your birthday's the next day and you at championships. You rank number one in the conference already.
Uh, well,
He was on to something.
Everything
he was
going
on to
cool.
something.
Yeah.
All right,
Shut him
cool,
down.
cool. You competing, and then that you on your third jump. You on your third jump, and you clip the bar with your legs. I'm talking about whole body over the bar. You just about to swing over, and it just clipped the bottom of your spike for the number one title for the medal that we all compete for. And right before that, you get a call that somebody just had shot up some things up in Chicago. I don't want to go too deep into that, but after the meet, I think I broke down. I'm not gonna lie. I was crying. Everything just started flooding in. Oh, can y'all hear? Oh, somebody tried to call me. Everything just started flooding in on the way back. I'm like, my dad died this year. I was almost there. I'm like, I should have won, and then everything just falling apart. And then some tell me just reach in my bag and grab his Bible. And ever since then, I just been in my Bible. Like that's just really it. Like I think what helped me overcome the mental health battle was really me getting into the Word. That's a really big thing. I'm a real firm believer in Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's what's up. Anybody else got a story
Yeah,
that
that's really it.
that where the mental part of it affected their performance?
Oh, dang, my thing done froze.
Uh, we were down in Tennessee for a
She
meet,
called me.
and
Hello,
I was high jumping, long
can you
jumping.
hear me?
So I was doing really bad long jump, so that kind of
Oh,
went through my jumps there. Didn't make finals, so I was already kind of down. That led over to my performance in high jump because I was already down. So I was like, oh, it's not worth it. I'm doing bad. Ended up not doing great there either. So once we got back, my coach actually like sat down. She was like, you have to remember that you're here for a reason. I recruited you for a reason. You're only a freshman, so you just got to remember that it's going to get tough, but you're young, so you'll get over that and you'll become like what I see that you can be. So that's really helped
Mhm.
me to believe in myself that I can get better and I'm gonna be something.
You know that when life is happening and you figure that you as young as y'all are, life is happening and things are happening, and if you're not prepared for the things that life are bringing, because you hadn't had to be, right? Like you, you the way that the way that you live, you're insulated from a lot of the things that's actually directly affecting you. So when something major does happen, it could totally derail you completely. And I'm glad that you all found y'all's, let it was only a one time thing. Um, and then you end up finding what worked for you to help you put the pieces back together to move forward. Because the things that y'all are facing now are things that in life that if you overcome them now, you will definitely be able to overcome the setbacks and the challenges when y'all experience them in life. Not saying that y'all didn't have some hard things and some tough things that happened to you all as y'all were growing up, but it's a little bit more real now because you're older and a lot of that stuff is direct and not filtered through anybody else. It's coming directly to you. So for y'all to keep your heads up and that's really cool. So let's see. I have another question. The question is, how do you recognize the signs of mental fatigue or burnout, and what steps do you take to address them as a student?
I feel like it's different for every student because everybody's different. But for me, I can tell when I'm kind of getting mentally burnt out is when I'm kind of like when I'm going to do something or when I'm going to the classrooms that I was learning in, and it was kind of just a drag to get there. And I can tell when I'm going through something or when I'm having a bad day is when I don't want to talk to anybody. And then there's times where that morning when I'm just feeling sad or whatever, I might cry, let it out somehow. So there's a lot of things that go into that subject.
Okay. Mental fatigue and burnout. What y'all got? Mental fatigue and burnout.
I would say how I know that when it's time for me to take a step back and regather myself and rebuild on my energy, I read my Bible. But besides that, I go on walks. I go. Sometimes I watch TV. I ain't gonna lie. I watch a little bit of Netflix, HBO Max. Some of my favorite shows to like cool me down, relax, or I'll just hang out with my teammates because they they really. I promise you, teammates is one of the best things you'll ever have. I don't care you hate them, you love them. Teammates is some of the best things to have because they'll be there when you're down.
And that's the thing about teammates. I mean, you're with them for so much, and they kind of like start to learn your behaviors and your patterns. So
Yeah.
there might be a time where you do come in and you're not feeling your best, or you're feeling down, or you're feeling sad, and your teammates can feel your energy. And in that moment where you're feeling sad and down, they can lift your energy up by showing you some love or bringing some to you in that time. So teammates are very important.
Yeah.
What about you, LA? What about the burnout and the mental fatigue? What's the
I feel like because I've been burnt out plenty of times because I'm a big school person. Like I I worry more about school than my sports. So like I think like when I get in that like rabbit hole of feeling like just so mentally tired, I get to like isolating myself, which isn't always good. It helps me at times, but kind of like what Michael said is like you just need to be around somebody for a couple hours or something. Because like if you get to isolating yourself, then it's like then you're really stuck and you get to overthinking, and that's the last thing you want to do when you're in college. I feel like so that's really my personal experience of that.
Isolation is bad, and I'm just gonna piggyback off of that. So when y'all, when you get into an isolated space, there's no one to field the questions or be a sounding board except yourself. So everything sounds good, right? Like you could, even if it's bad and you don't have no sounding board and you isolate yourself, that bad thought then becomes a good thought because it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm just gonna go over here and do whatever I'm gonna do to try to get this feeling or this pain to go away. And then you're by yourself and you realize like, man, I probably shouldn't have been by myself because that's not a great idea. And it's never a great idea. Isolation is never a good idea when, especially when you're in a space of mental fatigue or burnout, because your mind can produce some crazy, whacked out things. And most of the time, when people uh, are in a space where they're not mentally stable, and they have that moment, a lot of times they don't walk away from that. And a lot of times it's because they're in an isolation state and the idea of what they were thinking sounds really, really good, right? Because you don't have anybody to have a sounding board. So yeah. Okay. So I took some more, got another question for y'all. Oh nope, I'm gonna stray away from this question. I'm gonna ask y'all how I mean, and then let me get my questions together. Let me get it to how important do you think that at the things that y'all committed to right now, from your schoolwork and your commitment to your craft, can you have a girlfriend squeezed in there?
Uh, to me, it depends on the person too. 'Cause I did have somebody that I was kind of like, there wasn't a title, but everybody knew that was the girl that I liked. They kind of knew that we was a thing. Uh, she was wonderful at times, and then it wasn't wonderful at other times. And you have to know when you're messing with the girl or with the female or with the significant others, there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows. There's going to be times things are going really well, and there's times they're not going to be going well at all. And you just have to be able to deal with those times where you know things aren't going so well. But there's one thing that people have to remember is you're only in college for 4 years, and let's say significant other is not from your hometown. So yes, you're going to go back into a situation where it might not last because of the distance. So having a girlfriend in college and being a student athlete is tricky, but it just depends on if you want to deal with that or not.
Anybody
Man,
else got a response? Who else in
I
here
ain't
got a
gonna.
girlfriend?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Look, that girlfriend stuff is dead, bro.
It is.
I'm speaking from experience. It's dead, bro. No, like if you gonna do anything, go live your life, bro. Go do what you need to do. Stay safe. Do what you're supposed to do. Lock in. Keep the main thing the main thing. Cause I'm
That's
telling
right.
you, your girl. There's some girls out there that's gonna encourage you, that's gonna push you, and then there's someone out there that's gonna take away from you. It's too much. It's too much. You gotta split your focus. You gotta split your time. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. It's just no, bro. No. If I could tell any dude that's coming up, bro, don't let that be your main focus. Don't let the women be your main focus. Not to say not to have your fun, just don't let them be your main focus.
Mhm.
That's really it.
All right. What about you, Jake, in LA? What y'all talk?
Yeah,
What's
nah.
y'all take on managing and balancing a girlfriend and trying to be uh active in sports and stuff like that?
I feel like
It definitely takes like communication. because there's a lot of time that we're not here, and then including my major is aviation, so I also have to find time between classes, practice, and then I have to add flying on top of that. So there's a lot of time that I'm not free. So it definitely took a lot of communication to like figure out like, is this gonna work? Like, are you able to like deal with my schedule of being busy all the time? To like, this comes down to like, I'm busy, and like, will you be able to like take the time with me to find time for us?
That's tough though, right? Is that not a tough?
It's tough, yeah.
Do you feel added pressure? I mean, I ain't trying to put you on the spot.
I gotta hear this. I gotta hear
Well,
this, bro. Put me on game. Put me on game.
At times, there's definitely a lot of pressure of like, do you like getting asked the question like, do you have time for me today? Do you have time for this? Like, there's definitely a lot of time where I'm like, I actually don't have time, but like, she understands that I'm a student athlete and like I have priorities. That's like having a girlfriend's not my number one priority in college. It's getting through college and getting to my next step in life.
I dig it. LA, what about you? Oh, hey, I guess he just
That last part is more so like just from experience. There's a lot of females I know that they want to be like you got to be the priority, like the number one. But like for me, like I'm a hard worker, so I'm school, sports, family. You know what I mean? Like, and if I can't like, if I know I can't commit to you, I'm not gonna have a girlfriend because that's just to me that's kind of messy. You know what I mean? Like kind of just like what Michael was saying, like. Cause no woman deserves that. Like I'm not gonna like just hurt you because what I got going on. You know what I mean? But I think it would be it's a struggle for sure. So that's why I don't even bother as of now. I'm only a freshman, so like I got plenty of time. But as of now, I think I'm good off that.
but you know what? I love to hear that. I love to hear that because I talk to students all the time, and they're so wrapped up into these relationships as as young people. I'm even talking about not even high school. I'm even talking some of my middle school. For they so wrapped up into that and losing focus on everything else. And then when you get to the high school level, they're so still wrapped up into what the perception of what people think they should do is. And to hear y'all say that, it even if you do have one, you learn how to balance it and manage it, and still have keep the main thing the main thing. I mean, I think that is awesome, and that in itself is enough to change somebody's direction, somebody's path. Because the goal of this is that somebody hears something that you all have already walked through or is walking through, and make a change in how they approach their craft and their studies and even their relationships. So I commend all y'all for where y'all are in that. Now, how do y'all feel? How are the lines of communications with your coaches when you are feeling like mentally not connected? What, and now we're talking in your collegiate space, and I know in high school is a little different, but in this particular space that y'all in, how important is it to y'all that y'all communicate to your coaches, and then how important is to y'all that they respond in a manner that they value your mental health?
Yeah, I think it's very important because communication is important, just point blank, period. I mean, like, even though we might not look at it like this, but our coach is, quote unquote, our boss, because he tells us what to do, and we're there to basically be under him. But it's very important because if you're going through something, your coach needs to know. Because what if you're going through something and you're not the same player that he's seen the previous days before or even last week? And another thing it is important to tell your coaches because he can help you. Your coach isn't just the dude that's supposed to tell you to dribble the ball or run over some hurdles or to do this and do that. He's also there to be a father figure for you. Because, I mean, a lot of us are going to college and correct me if I'm wrong, our daddies aren't going to be there with us. So it's always good to have that father figure there, somebody that you can count on and talk to you when you're going through a hard time. So And it's important that he responds in the correct way, because that shows that he actually loves and cares for you, not just for you being a student athlete, for you being a person in general. So
I think that do y'all have lines of communications, Jake, Ladarius, Mike? Do y'all have those open lines of communication? And do y'all think they value y'all's questioning when y'all are in that space of kind of feeling a little down mentally?
Like, I know my coach, he speaks about that all the time. Like, I know, like, there's a quick story. Like, there was a practice, like, he could just tell that I was down, and this was around the time when I was having like inconsistent minutes, and then I was like struggling with family stuff. So then he was just kind of like, he walked up to me during practice and was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "To be honest, I'm really not, but I'll be fine." He was like, "Let's go back to the dorm." Like, I would rather you be okay mentally than you have to just play basketball in this practice today. So like, I think it's very important to like, because to me, closed mouths don't get fed. So like, if you don't say anything, then like no one can help you.
For sure,
Yeah.
100%.
I agree with that totally because I remember this one time because I play football too. Last year, Todd Miller, he's not here anymore. We have a new coach, Coach Manners. But last year, I was going through a tough time because that was my pops had just recently passed, and I was sitting in my dorm room, man. Mind racing, and I missed the we had a workout and walkthroughs that day, and he called me and I answered, and then I texted him. I said, "Coach, I can't do this," and he pulled up immediately, and we talked everything out, and he made sure I was straight. So I feel like that's really important because it can make or break your situation, and they can do what they can to help you. So I really appreciate him for that.
Oh, for sure.
More than likely, like I know my coach, at least she ran track in college. She's been, all of our coaches have probably been through what we're going through right now. So if like they probably know what we feel, what we're going through. So if we don't take the time to talk it with them, then we probably can't get over what we're going through.
And that, I mean, being able to express yourself at a young age, being able to go and say, "Hey, this is bothering me," it plays a bigger part in a bigger picture, in relationships that are future relationships where you can actually go in and you can acknowledge and express those things that you're feeling. And what is one of the toughest things that you could say about college sports right now? What's the toughest thing that you think? What is the biggest? I'll say not toughest, but what is the biggest misconception about college sports and athletes right now, and college athletes?
I would say one of the bigger misconceptions is that when you get to college, that you're not gonna have to put in any work if you're a student athlete. Because I feel like throughout these years, we see all these great, these great college athletes who have great high school careers, and we just think, oh man, they can just go to college and they don't have to go to class, they don't have to do this, they don't have to do that for their campus, and they're just gonna go and they're just gonna be fine. And that's not how it is. Like when you get to college, you have to buckle down. You have stuff you have to focus on. You have to get your class in order. You have to stay on your grades. You have to make great connections. You have to be a great student athlete. It's definitely not a walk in the park. And I feel like some people may feel like as soon as you get, an offer or get a scholarship, then your work is done. And truth be told, that's when your work really begins.
For sure. For sure.
That's a big thing for sure. That's a big thing.
For sure. Okay. So in y'all's preparation, in y'all's planning, in the acceptance letter, in everything that y'all did to get to this next level, what are some things that you can look back on and you can say you wish you did X, Y, and Z? I know, Mike, you mentioned earlier that you had your grades together and things like that, but what is something that you wish you would have done prior to you getting into college? And then what is something that you wish you would have done as you went through your first few? I mean, Juju, you graduated, so you already put some pieces together. But through your first few years, your first year through your graduation, what are some of the things that you look back on now that you wish you would have made different choices in however you moved in a particular area?
Mhm. Looking back, and if there's one thing that I would have changed about myself compared to now is I would have took my resume building more seriously. I would have took looking for internships and looking for jobs more seriously, because little do students know that there's a lot of job opportunities out there as long as you build your resume. Like, I mean, plus you have to look for opportunities. Like, they're not just going to be handed to you. And you also have to put down the skills that you have that makes you qualified for those possible positions. And building your resume and checking your Indeed and checking your handshake, that can open a lot of doors for anybody. So that's one thing I wish I would have done when I was younger. I wish I would have checked my Indeed more, my handshake more, and I wish I would have built my resume before I started to.
Great, that's good advice.
Look, I ain't gonna. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you. I don't regret nothing from my freshman year because I freshman year was fun for me, even though I was on academic probation. So I knew what I knew what I had to do. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm still finna go outside. I'm like, I'm still everything. Like, but I one thing I probably would say for sure is dealing with certain people and having the right people around me. I would say that's probably being better with the people around me and being aware of certain situations. That's really probably it. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Jake, LA?
I kind of liked what he said about having the right people around you, because there's some people who now I come home I don't talk to at all because I know what they've gotten into. I don't want to be around that because I know what I want my picture outside of athletics to be. I know what I want people to know me by, and I don't want to be known for what they do. So kind of
Right.
distance people that aren't the best for your image.
That's good. I mean, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I both said the same things, but the wording, I mean, when you say best for your image, because it's your brand, right?
Mhm.
Like the stuff that you put on the internet, the stuff that you say, the pictures that you in, the things that you do, all that stuff is a part of your brand that if you post it on the internet, it never goes away. So as Juju was saying, when you started doing your resume, you started doing your Indeed, and you started going after these interns, guess what they're doing? They're checking your social media
Mhm.
and they're looking to see who you with. Are you what kind of image are you portraying? And so that has a lot to do with it. And I'm glad that y'all, so at one point I was an agent at one point, and I'll stress that. And then I became an NIL agent a few years ago. Um, and I stressed to the people that I'm talking to, if you're trying to get these deals, and Juju was one of my clients. And it's like, I mean, you got your social media got to be on point. You got to be on point. So with that being said, y'all are all coming to the end of a season. Basketball's at the end. Y'all all just went through y'all season, and what are some of the things that you learned mentally that you're going to incorporate over the summer that's going to help you be prepared mentally going into the next phase of whatever it is that you're doing?
Mm, One thing that I learned from this previous season is that it's always great to be prepared. It's always good to have preparation for things that you might face or you might come across. Because, I mean, if you come across something and you're not prepared for it, the likelihood of you having the end result that you want to have is very slim. If you go through something and you're not prepared for it, there's a various amount of results that can come in the outcome. But preparation and having the right time management for stuff will make life so much easier. And that's one thing that I'm starting to incorporate into my life, and I can see myself incorporating that into the future.
Man, that's what's up.
Yeah. Piggyback off that, I say time management for sure. I'm working on my discipline and just staying consistent in what I'm doing. Because right after this, I'm gonna probably put in some work. But I really think this last season opened my eyes, because this was my first track season, but not this was my first track season, so it made me look closer at the little things. It had me look up to some of my teammates, because we got some Olympic runners that was spitting game to me. And he told me he's from France. He's from France. He told me, he said, if you wanna be great, if you wanna run a 49, if you wanna run a 20, a 21, a 22, you gotta really buckle down. You gotta be disciplined, laser focused on what you want, and if anything that's not like it, drop it. So that's what I've been trying to work on.
Jake, LA, y'all quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote this on my mirror at the beginning of the year. I forget where I found it, but it was this quote that said, "Get better one day at a time, because greatness doesn't happen overnight." So that really helps me remember that, like, I'm not going to be amazing the next day. That's going to take days or weeks or months to get to where I want to be. So I just have to keep working and putting in the time to get to what I want to be.
That's what's up.
I feel like that for me, it's just as long as I stay consistent, I'll be fine. Because I know this past season told me that I have a lot of potential and play with the bigger guys. Because I mean, we have some old guys on our team too. We have a fifth year point guard that I have to try to compete for. So like, I've played a decent amount of minutes this past season. So as long as I stay consistent and I'm mentally just here, then I'll be fine. I think that's what I'm really shooting for.
Okay. Now, with y'all all being in this space, what is something that you think y'all athletes, student athletes need to better to be have a better success mentally and as a student athlete? What is something that could be in place right now that says, hey, if this was in place, then this would be a whole lot easier?
I would say if student athletes were more open to talking to people about their problems, then I feel like that would help them a lot. So I feel like there's some times where certain student athletes get this stigma that, hey, just because I'm an athlete that I can't be emotional or I got to be big and macho all the time. And that's not the case. I mean, everybody has times where they're sad and everybody has times where they're not feeling like they're up to par. And the most important thing is when you are in those times, finding ways to deal with it. And I feel like if student athletes were a little bit more open to talking to people about their problems, well, I don't even want to say student athletes, but if people in general were a little bit more open to talking about their problems instead of just bottling it up and letting it sit in and simmer up, and I feel like things would be a lot better for not just student athletes, but just people.
That's a great answer.
It is, and to make sure that everybody that's watching this or hearing this, I would say what we feed our mind is very, very important. And I'm not just talking about what we eat, I'm talking about the things we watch, the things we read, the people we look at, the things we look at on social media. All those things play a big part, because if you're sitting here watching things that have nothing to pertain to what you should be doing, that affects your brain, that affects how you look at the world, that affects everything that you have a part in. So I would say if athletes or people in general would just be mindful of what they watch and what they intake. It's really,
Okay.
it's really a big thing.
Okay.
I feel like being confident, because having this confidence of where you're not always going to win. There's going to be times where you're going to lose races. So I remember, I think it was my last year's state, came in number 1 seed, walked in thinking, oh, I got this in the bag. Everything's going to go my way. And then nothing went my way. Ended up placing, I think, third, like a second and a half below my seeded time. And you just have to remember, like, I think if people have this like thought of like, oh, they're not always going to be great. Like you're going to have down days. You're going to be a better athlete than you are if you're always going to think you're going to win.
That, yeah, I mean, For y'all to be so young, y'all got some wisdom, and I can really appreciate that, and I really do. Now, we're going to wrap this up here, and I just want to ask this last. I want y'all to just kind of talk to the person that's coming up who may be at a point of quitting. What it I mean, student athlete student, anywhere that they're at a breaking point and they feel like they're ready to give up and quit. What are you saying to them?
I would say to them, if it's a student athlete, I would say that if you want to quit, that's fine, because we're all going to come into a point in time where we're going to stop, playing our sport. As like for me, I broke my hand about 2 months ago in the middle of a game, 2 or 3 months ago in the middle of the game, and I knew right then and there I was done. I knew right then and there that I was done. I looked at it as God has something else for my life lined up. So it's just important, really.
That's big. Well, for me, if somebody came up to me like that, I'm telling them, don't do that. Do the hard things. I remember this is one thing that a coach that actually coaches my younger brother and sister. I work out with them a couple times when I can. He told me, do the hard things, even if it feels like you can't do it. Do the hard things, because later on it's gonna pay off. You're gonna be like, oh, I wish. You're not gonna sit there and regret it. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm so glad I did this, because then when an actual challenge comes your way, you're gonna be like, this is nothing. I'm built for this. Like that's really how I look at certain things. So if somebody came up to me, I'm just telling them, push through, persevere, because what more do you got to lose? What more is there?
Okay.
Yeah, the regret is a big thing for me, that I'm gonna quit and then be like, why? Like maybe like a week later, be like, why did I quit? Because that time's gonna pass of me being like bogged down of like my sport or school. But then I also remember, like, I tell myself, like, is this what like 5-year-old me would want to do? Like quit a sport just because like I'm exhausted. I wouldn't want myself to do that. So I just kind of remembered that.
Okay. LA, what you got? Okay, so he like he already having some issues.
He's gone.
He has issues with his camera. So he must have came back. Let's see. Okay. Well, so I appreciate all y'all for taking the time out of y'all day for pulling up on the podcast. If y'all haven't followed the podcast, please go and do that at Seymour Reese Ball on YouTube. Hit the like and subscribe button. I do content interviews like this, but I also do interviews where people who are doing big things out here in this world, and people only see the shiny side of that. I do the interviews that tell people and connect people to their stories. So go follow me on that. But we have in the building, we have Juju, we have Mike, we have Jake, we have LA. These young men are all doing something phenomenal, and they're all doing big things. I just appreciate them pulling up on the podcast. I appreciate them taking time out their day, sharing with y'all about their stories, their experiences, the things that they would have y'all to do. And we really just scratched the surface on this mental health thing. I'm definitely going to do another one, and would love for y'all to pull up again and hang out with me. And this time we'll probably have a balanced panel, because the things that y'all face are a little bit different than the things that some of the young ladies face. But I appreciate y'all pulling up. I appreciate y'all hanging out. And you've been tuning in to the Seymour Reese Ball podcast. I love you like a play cousin. Nothing you can do about it. And we out. Peace.
Peace.